Yo, what's up? Alright, so I may have some. Let me turn on my desktop. Yo, yo.
Hi there, happy Friday. It is Susan Beyer with Fun with Research. Glad you joined me today. Today we're going to talk about a question that I've received about survey question order. Are there rules to the order in which you put survey?
Yes, there are. And some of the things that she's going to talk about in this video are, does she have extra chapters laid out? I'll tell you right now. Some things she says is yes, it actually does have an impact. And also the length of the survey can also challenge the user. And the type of response also, right? Some are the more draining than others. And it leads to a lower level of care and attention to the questions as time goes on. That's definitely something that happens with this particular document. I did add a lot of the stuff here. Maybe I added too much. Well, we have 4 responses now. We have, is it fair that I have knowledge of some of the responses? I don't remember all the answers, how they responded, because it's very long. Anyways, let's get to filling it out. Maybe it was too long. I got that response from several people. This is just a basic, you start with your email to start off. Okay, that's my Gmail account. Here's the, I will say all of them. activist. That's a dirty word nowadays. Whatever. Okay. Notice living in the United States did not ask if you are a U.S. citizen. I did not ask that. The legitimacy of U.S. citizenship could be argued, and I just want to know if you live here. Yeah. Different thing. That also includes legal immigrants, people who are maybe former felons, right? Sometimes they're innocent of those. Sometimes they have provable innocence. The Innocence Project, a shout out to Nolan Ferrelli. He gets mentioned in here. Let's keep going. Anyways. Now run. djelf7.com. And it's good that, you'll see that a lot of times you put the URLs of these candidates into the platform. And that's good because it gives them better search engine optimization, right? A lot of people updating our website, publicly available. I should actually add this to the Google. It's already in Google, so it should get added to the search bar terms, hopefully, right? We'll see. Active interest, I'll just leave that blank. I'll say help people that don't get help. That is a tagline for me. All of them. Let's gem just help us, right? Why can't they? Anyways, we'll see. Could happen. There's weird moves being made in the background. Anyway, let's keep going on. So we have the criminal justice reform. There are several components to this thing. No. And we have a video to watch and qualified immunity. So this allows officials to act intentionally, maliciously, and I think that's just too much. So that's a yes. I do believe that was one that had a 100% agreement with. That's a unanimous decision. The rate of bail processing charges requirement. Now you have to really watch the video. I think some people are confused about this. Get rid of bail. It doesn't say get rid of the bail charge itself. I think this could be better worded. They can meet bail. Okay, so this does make it clear, right? Yeah, as long as they pay the bail, they should be okay. But you can't charge a separate processing charges requirement, and then hold them and they met the bail requirement, right? So what is this extra fee? So that sounds fair. Increase prison art music programs. Okay. Fine with me. Introduce a permanent. Okay, you might ask, where would you pay for this, right? Or what's the benefit? Could be, right? Why don't we just ask for like free bird food to feed the birds, right? Like there has to be some type of I think it would be good to give them an outlet to be productive, maybe to make things, be constructive with their time instead of thinking about like getting each other. Art and music are commodities that can be sold in prisons. People do sell like artwork, and that's another hustle that people can have. I'm not against this, yeah? Let's move on. I'm not really. I think this needs more examination. Introduce apprenticeship programs for inmates and students to give them another path to success. I think that's real solid. I would definitely go for that, right? Yeah. They come out of there. I know that a lot of them talk about coming out of prison with a degree. And a lot of people with degrees who are just coming out and getting minimum wage, right? So I would say maybe a trade sounds like, carpentry, things like that. Maybe a lot of security, things like that. That's where they end up anyways, so that makes sense to me. Legalize drugs and open a happiness center. And rehabilitation centers and program teach people how to use the drug properly. I understand the using the drug properly. I guess I'll be down with that. Also, leaving the drugs, I guess, is cool. But the happiness center, that's a little bit too much for me. So this term happiness center. Some people do downers, right? Some people are using drugs for different reasons, right? We also have people that are doing steroids, performance enhancing drugs. I think stimulants are a huge. So it's not about necessarily being happy, right? This whole drug happiness center. I'm not sure this happiness center is really going to solve people who are addicted to steroids problems, right? Or other maybe performance related drugs, or even drugs that are not, right? We're into downers. Are people on ketamine? When they went to those K-holes, they just kind of like blank out, right? They go to sleep. They just want to numb themselves. I don't say it's necessarily about happiness. Maybe fulfillment, happiness. It's just okay. People like to do drugs. That's a fact. Even animals do, right? Like cats like the catnip and stuff. So it's also some actually. Just so you know, there's incidences of like cows and wild deer and stuff that like eat berries and get drunk and stuff. And sometimes they'll start to seek out these. It's natural though, right? Because it actually stimulates a dopamine release. So it's just biological process. Anyways, freedom of religion. Yeah, there are certain religions do actually use these drugs to attain different mind states. In a happiness center, right? So, how would you feel if you're solemn? You know, I guess it makes sense. This whole happiness center. I'm not really crazy about that term. I should probably should have said something. I think she added this on her own, right? Oh well. The time for comments is over. We can check in. It will be a child daycare, night care, and animal sitting. So the people that are drug addicts, they'll still be able to have access to their kids, I guess, in some way. And they'll be able to have pets as well. It's a job creator, okay, and a money producer for the USA. Right, so the people who are doing the daycare for these addicts and stuff, I'd like to hear more on this. Yeah, so I'm gonna abstain on this. I'm a big fan of Susan. I don't really just want to really see a little bit more development of this particular idea, and maybe I'll have her on the program. We'll see. Um, let's see. On some highways, if the state decides, they can decide to allow lanes of unlimited speeds, no speed limits, or 3-lane highways or more. States could decide, and we have like an autobahn system in New York City. I mean, in this not New York City limits, just like in the United States. Maybe not right in New York City, but maybe in certain areas. But let's say yeah. Reducing the drinking age to 16 for beer and wine. Hmm. Actually, this one has to be designed carefully. Okay. Just want to say about that. So reduce the drinking age for 16's beer. Uh, that's what kids are already drinking. Get the fuck out of here. Don't tell me those kids aren't drinking. Get rid of frivolous laws and regulations. It's time to clean house. Yeah, there's some stupid shit out there. Okay. One of the issues here is that it says we need to help parents with training kids to raise kids in a healthy environment, right? But do the parents want to raise the kids in a healthy environment? That's just something that I know a lot of people are like, oh, of course fucking do, right? However, a lot of parents see what's going on around them is messed up, but they're not really stopping that, right? They see that their children are the first to make less than them. But they look higher up and they say, you know, I can't fix that. I can't change that. And you're the first generation to let down the future, and it looks like there's a freaking depression on the horizon. It's really quite depressing. It's sad. So I do not really believe that parents are really right. We look at the school system and how the schools are ripping off the kids, and the parents just got sucked into the idea that, you know, college is good, could be good, but it's way overpriced. So yeah, I guess with training, but I'm concerned. I have concerns here. Max and 50 days solitary confined per UN standards. Okay. 15 days seems significant time. Okay. UN standard, that seems intelligent. Universal suffrage. This document does support universal suffrage. Only act in the public interest to provide a reasonable defense. Excellent. Become judges. And defense attorneys. So who would become judges? Like lay people? Maybe. Let's staying on this one. Public defenders should be replaced by a system where people could find their own attorney. This may originally have been prosecutors only, right? I do remember that, but may have added defense attorneys. I'm not sure. There was a period. There was 4 adjustments, and that period is over. Public defenders should be replaced by a system where people can find their own attorneys. They pay for the lawyer's fee. It's true. Retroactive pardon for drug convictions. They're now legal. Predatory pricing for the commissaries. Yeah, what are we doing with that? I don't think this one has unanimous support, though. I saw that. I was like, well, what? Someone's for predatory. Hey, you know what? If we can't get agreement on that, it just is what it is. And the death penalty. I think someone does. I think this will have supermajority. I think there was. I wonder if this one has support. Increase the death penalty. Say 3. So sure. Close Guantanamo Bay. Yes. And the use of torture. Yes. And cash bail. Establish moratorium on building new jails and prisons. Yeah, we already have too many. It's just ridiculous. Children cannot be tried as adults. Sounds true. Establish open hours court. Experiences, okay. Alright, that sounds cool. It's a little catch system. I think it's going, yeah. And mandatory minimums, okay. Yeah, I don't trust the prison doctors. I'm a business vehicle, that's pretty sure. Protect man. Nominate bears to the ballot. Yes. Racial and social class impact statements. I don't have to really read these that long because the thing is that I actually wrote a lot of these methods. So yeah, yeah. What's gonna happen? What are gonna be the results? The actual results, and that if your stated results are opposite or have a different effect from what the actual results achieve, then you got to be accountable for that. I can make that happen. Start bringing some accountability on this stuff here. Anyways, yeah, so give appraisal disabilities, proper amount of time for extra travel. Create a dedicated task force with arrest powers. I wonder if this is gonna get this is a more intricate plan here. I wonder if this is gonna get support. We'll see. So that's the cost to file a one-page form. Be within 1 business day. Oh, before I had shout out Norm Burrell on this policy. Kind of really part of minority communities. And also must go through the other people too. Oh yeah. Home arrest solutions. Expanding home arrest solutions. Yes. 20% longer sentences. Yes. I think this one also did not get unanimous support. That's. Oh well. I'm just gonna show me the results afterwards. Let's see. Basically, almost. Oh, we still have all day left. Anyways, if minorities are given 20% longer sentences to take corrective action, we can take 20% off minority sentences. Yeah. Prison should be decoupled from the for-profit industry. Why are we making? Why are we incentivizing people to get people locked up? That sounds off. Protect Miranda rights. Yeah, they're about to end that. That's not good. So, what Miranda rights are? You have the right to remain silent, and you have to be told that. If you don't know your rights, you don't really have those rights. To tell you the truth. I know you had your back to the wall, but even if you know your rights, they can still violate them. But helps if you know. Legalize all gun ownership. Like the Second Amendment. That sounds a little bit too far. Sorry. You know, my gun friends are not happy. All of it. See, that's because, okay, here's where the survey, like the question about does the order of the questions count, right? Because over here I have knowledge about, I know there's other questions coming up. This is part of a series. So I actually made it when I did so people could go back and I grouped them together, right? A legalize all guns shooting bullets, right? So obviously this would be okay, maybe, right? Yeah, lethal guns. People don't even know what the definition of a gun is. So this one actually, in context here, this one makes this one look ridiculous, right? Hopefully people go back and change that. We'll see how people get affected here by this order of questions, and if people may let's see how people would actually change the answer. Maybe people don't think they should change their answer, but this is an interesting little. Right. We also see some other questions where there's some people said there was like a lot of repetition, right? Because when we talk about like education reform, and then we talk about like addressing like economic issues, it could really go into either form. So the thing become front loaded heavy, like where a lot of at the beginning, a lot of polls made cross over into different categories, and as time goes on, the those get filtered out, right? So we also can see how much consistency there is, though, as we go through the document, and if people get tired or as they get exposed to different questions. Once again, we asked if does the order of the survey questions matter. as in terms of design this document, I think that's definitely something that I'd like to address if I could. I think this is a potential area right here for examination. All right. Anyways, obviously this is dumb, so excludes, right? Yeah. And I would just say all guns. I mean, got to be some guns around, right? It's a tool. Legalize only. Okay, so here's an interesting permutation, right? Legalize only automatic weapons and assault rifles because that has very high kill rates. And it doesn't say hunting rifle, it says assault rifle. So maybe people want to defend their homes. Am I going to go for this? You know, people can also convert the guns to become automatic. And I'm gonna read this to be not illegalized for all communities, but some communities, the general public, I guess. Like, unless they have special permission to have automatic weapons or rifles, maybe they have to have some kind of permit for that. So I would not just destroy all that technology. You know, I don't know how you feel. You probably may be unhappy about that. Maybe some permitted communities are allowed to have automatic weapon assault rifles, right? Illegalized means just like they're all illegal. That's how I'm reading it. So I think the military needs to have automatic weapons and assault rifles. That's their job, right? Anyways, can't always do things with diplomacy. It's just real. All people buying a lethal gun must pass a background check. That sounds fair. All people buying a lethal gun must be licensed with renewals declared annually. I would be okay with that. I know it's a lot of extra hassle and stuff. We might have to create some further legislation to like prevent becoming like overburdening or overbearing or like expensive. But that's a powerful tool right there. Reverse income tax dividend. Dividend for the poorest. Okay. So if you don't make enough, then you get some money back. I guess it makes sense. I'll go for it. Right. Jobs guaranteed. Cool. Not like a shot. That's your federal job. Learning hooked me up, man. Social Security Fund and other entitlements. There's a cap on the amount of tax. So the tax is not fair and equal. Oh, that's a great. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. How would you limit that, right? The military via mandatory services where ship programs and free job training. I think they already kind of do this, right? But expand the military. Via mandatory service. I'm gonna have to actually say I'm gonna abstain on this one. Just because it's expanding the military, right? I could see maybe it's military. This military thing is the only troubling thing for me. All right. We had like maybe like I think the school system is compulsory, right? It's mandatory. So and that's right with the existing educational system. I like that one. The military, mandatory military service. It might come to that. Anyways, let's see. Doesn't mean it's necessarily good, right? It could be also problematic. For people that make under 30K, they make it to be 20K. It brings up to 50K a year. Be nice. Okay, I'm with it. You make 35K, you'll be mad. How about? I would just say bring everybody to 50K. You have to abstain on this one, right? Because people at 35K are going to be just super mad. 36K going to be too mad. I can't do that to them. Don't make no sense. Okay, so I do like the 50K idea though. That kind of like floor level. Oh no, there's a 20K floor level, right? Because if you actually also right, if you make in 20K, then you're gonna get a rebate of another 20K, so you get 40K. If you don't make any money, you're getting 20K flat. Um, the mathematics is just a little. I get it. It's not a bad idea, right? Yeah, I just think it needs a little bit more clarification and working. Okay, next one is expand apprenticeship programs to teach trades. Mm, I don't apprentice programs. Apprenticeship programs primarily exist in the trades, right? You have a electrician. Okay, but expand them. Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get to be an apprentice. It's not. You have to find someone who's cool, and then they kind of like they might teach you, they might not. Um, anyways, expand the military via mandatory service for apprenticeship programs and trade job training. Is it to use our young adults in an organized, structured way, give them the skills they need to thrive. Okay, I think this was already suggested earlier. Okay. I think I said before abstain, right? Because of the military word. I'm not really against, getting the young adults in a system that works way better than our stupid colleges. Parents force, like a military concept, but it's about parenting people, preparing people to be parents. Mothers pay, fathers pay. I wish that I know it sounds weird, but I'm not sure that the parents nowadays really want to really prioritize their children. They want to prioritize making money or, some other bullshit. And I'm not sure you can really teach them that. You know, they, you can actually, societal pressure can actually discourage that type of behavior. Parents force. I'm okay with people being taught to be parents. Yeah, but really not. This is actually quite So when you're preparing people to be parents, like, then how does those a lot of those people who are making those, they're bringing like gayness into like the young education sphere, and there'll be some controversy around that, and how is that going to be taken care of in this situation? It's not really clear, considering that the military already has a problematic history with, um, you know, homosexuality in the forces and how they're addressing it. I don't think there's really a satisfaction around the different solutions that they've come up with. So that's gonna be another thing. You guys go to tax loopholes, get rid of them. Everyone pays taxes the way you're supposed to. Yeah, get rid of tax. Yeah, get rid of tax loopholes. That makes sense. No income taxes if less than It is a huge hassle. Fucking income tax and the trust, which are monopolistics. Actually, this is a very popular idea. Shout out to Dan Cobble. I need to finish that interview, man. That was I guess I still got it somewhere. Remove student loans exemptions related to bankruptcy. That's the only reason why they charge like hundreds of thousands of dollars, because no one would sign a loan to a person like that unless they were really, um, you know, had a gun to their head, which basically these loans are. Who's benefiting off of that? Really, the schools and the insurance and the creditors making all the money off that interest. Thousands of dollars for what? For funding something that should be way cheaper. The financial industry found a way to profit off of our children, and it's disgusting and wrong. Is that why we work your ass off to give your money to these schools? So your children can make it? You're not taking care of them. In ways. Yeah, take these school stuff. Yeah, no more insider trading. Oh, this is that economic stuff. Okay. I was all in the mind frame of doing that criminal justice stuff. We like switch the topic here. Yeah, I went to the next page. So I went to a little place right there off of this. Okay, these are my heavy hitting issues here. About financial incentives to redirect capital to co-ops versus corporations. Yeah, co-op. Yeah, owned by the people involved, right? Not the fucking read by some asshole boss. No more gallon parachutes for executives. Yeah, it's disgusting. Your fucking company failed and you're getting millions of dollars while everybody else is losing. Pay off the whole organization, not just yourself. You don't get to run away with the money. That's exactly what it is. Fiat currency feels like a scam. Sure it does. People with disabilities should make at least minimum wage. Yes, I know that. Give credit unions more support. Yeah, Bank of America effed up. Credit Suisse, that's not even the US, but all these institutions, they're just being, that's the corporate way. You take over a well-known, trusted brand, then you cash out. Oh, the cow thing. Yeah, getting out of control, the ratio. Balanced. Without liability. Yeah, what is that shit? That's why these corporations be doing this dumb shit. Because people, oh, I didn't know. I just got rich off of it. That's the problem. That's a big problem. I think a million per week is like, why do you really need more than a million every week? What are you going to do with $1 million every week? It's like, already that's insane. Yeah, like billionaires, like 52 million a year. God, a million a week, dude. Come on. What are you really doing with $1 million every fucking week? Damn, bro. Parents' force. staying on that one. Tax loopholes. Just pay the tax at the rate you're supposed to. Let's give it tax loopholes. Didn't I say this before? I don't know. Yeah, no income taxes. One who earns less than 100,000 a year. Enough already. I already answered these. Well, whatever. Entitlements current. There's a cap on the amount of riches. Sure. Did I answer these before? I feel like I did. Anyways, yeah. I gotta clear these up. Yes. It's absurd. So no longer leads to bankruptcy. Did I answer these all before? Perception. Marketing tax. Okay, yeah, get rid of industry marketing. Yeah, stop the bullshit. Any movement by employer offer 10% labor force. And fund their program. Yeah, this is hard to understand, so I had to read this a couple times, and I wrote this shit. Damn. Okay. Federally overseen versus state overseen. That's really the difference here, right? So the federally over, if it's 1,000 more employees, then the federal government will get involved and create a report saying that if you're offshoring your labor force, then we're also going to generate a report about how we can offshore the management for offshoring, U.S. jobs. But if it's less than 1,000, right, like the small businesses, then the state will be responsible for that, for enforcing that. So yeah, I guess support that one. Shut down offshore tax havens. Yes, I'm offshoring. This one also okay. This one is close to what Dennis Cobble said earlier. 100% marginal tax rate after $100 million. Okay, after you have $100 million. So this is actually more generous than $1 million a week, but still, I support this, right? Yeah, like. Oh, there's some debate on this, right? So we saw over here that we just said we'll get to this one in a moment. So here, right, we see that when the net wealth, so that doesn't mean like $100 million. Oh, I mean net wealth increases within one calendar year, right? So the thing is that this one over here is a clarification, right? So I would say, okay, more than 100, because that's what I was thinking. But here, Demetrius Wilson says no one should have $100 million at any time in your life. Like once you get to $100 million, like that's it. You're done. That's max wealth. So you could spend some, then some money could come in, but you can't really go over 100 million. So that's cool too. There is something about when the numbers, because there's this thing where the people who have money put their money into these accounts that bear interest, and that interest is something called, I think Einstein said progressive interest, or whatever they call it, right? Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in the universe because of the mathematically way it shoots up. And these ultra rich people you could see the wealth shooting up. And we need to be able to limit that, because even with, if you, the income gap is not that bad, but the wealth gap is growing. So this would attend to that. So I'm not mad at that either. Set scope and scale for sentencing based on federal precedent caps. For example, if no one at Johnson Johnson, the top level goes to prison for the opioid crisis for manslaughter, that should be federal precedent so that no one else does either. You know, I appreciate Ruben Dante like participating in this. I mean, we didn't. I mean, the participation rate is very low on this. But I will actually, I cannot agree with this because, okay. See, we have 4 responses on the public and 1 from the candidates, but the fact of the matter is I cannot really support this because an employee might have done bad. So why would the boss go to jail? Sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not. And I understand the sentiment here. But I don't want everybody to just say, too often no one's going to prison, right? So there is some validity to what's going on here. That's based on federal precedent caps. I'm not mad at this one, but then it says, for example, at the top level goes to prison so that no one else does either. So you have to go from the top down. The top is not usually protected from the BS with their plausible deniability and their lies and their bullshit. But then what's going to happen is just no one's going to go down for it. That's already what's happening. Because they're also protecting their lieutenants that are faithful to them. Anyways, a wealth cap. Okay, let's have that. More than 200 million. Okay, so we have 100 million. We have a 200 million. Right. Okay, so I guess this is a modification of the former one by Demetrius when he said top out 100 million. So I guess Jeff is saying cap out at 200 million. And I think that's kind of, if you're making 100 million a year, which is a very, very high rate, people could, collect a little bit more and go to a total of 200 million. But after 200 million, you're like, damn. I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with some kind of limit, right? This whole billionaire, I think Bill Gates' worth was like 1/100th the total world's money or something. It's just crazy how much he has. They're looking forward with the formation of workers' unions or the peaceful activities. I know that this is not. Someone said that they didn't like this. This one already has a no vote. That's wild. But I'll have to say, yeah, you can't interfere with them. Come on. The UFC fighters should get taken care of better. Free checking out available to all. I saw that what's going on in India with the rupee. That was quite an interesting little documentary. Encourage people to look up rupee and what happened with that and how they kicked these out the country. Luxury items, disgusting. If people just want to pay, if people always want to pay so much more of these luxury brands, then they could help the people with that money. Yeah. Could spend a whole bunch more. It's not about, they will literally destroy their own goods to make them scarce. So it's about this artificial pumped up demand. I'm mad at them making some money, right? You want to sell a bag that you made for $200 for, $20,000. If you $1,000, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, you make your money. That's a good margin item. It's a solid one, but the rest of that $9,000, and screw off with taking that, you know what I mean? The only reason why it's luxury is because you're ripping off people. If you want to be a big shot and show you spend a lot of money, then go ahead, do that. But it doesn't have to go towards some dude that doesn't know how to pronounce his own name. Yeah. Yeah, why do all these fashion brands never pronounce shit correct? It's stupid. Anyways, a big one for the wealth gap. Compound, we have the compound interest, yeah. 1% penalties, board fees. 1%. Oh, I should say instead of saying the 1%, it's just the ultra rich, right? Because now it says the 1% penalties, and that could be confusing. Oh well, I gotta write it better. Medical reform proposals, okay. Unnecessary tests, fuck unnecessary tests. Uh, Guidelines for appropriate testing and procedures. This is going on someone with the insurance company too, but it's just a bunch of BS and people just cashing in, just inflating like the cost, and there's nobody to stop it. Navigator program, sure, narc. Men's disablement fly without hassle for things such as guide animals. Appeals asset limits to allow disabled to save, invest, pursue careers. Yes, okay. Good faith interaction process to give guidance to business and protect disabled workers. Electronic verification. I don't really know what electronic verification is. Say, staying on that one. Sorry. The old Medicare for All Act was watered down. He wants to propose a 2017 text. There have been several proposals of programs called Medicare for All. The main thing is, for me, right? Whatever they have here is public administration, how they're going to, yeah, administer the process, and if the people who are victims of the system will be able to have a voice in it, or if it will just be run by the managers and the administrators and the bureaucrats. Okay. This is clerical workers. Okay, let's see. Appoint a director, okay. Usually under Democrat and Republican control, this is problematic. Mental health, the director for mental health. Oh, concerned. Quality control, okay, director. Applicants to do with state and regional directors. Okay. But the directors, right? The managers will only identify certain problems. And that problem is never with themselves, right? So, or they try to deny that for their own interest, which is logical. So this is good because they're already anticipating that they're going to be slashing clerical administrators, right? Yeah. Maybe even doctors and offices, yeah. They will cut some programs. They put the administrators first. And insurance companies. Doctors come later on, but they're definitely complicit. Even the nurses. Okay, so here we see, okay, so we do see that we have the board shall include at least one of each. Okay, so we do see that there's a pathway in. Yeah, this is really my big concern here. Now, at least one, I don't, like later on they could stack it, like right, like 20 healthcare professionals and 20 institution providers, and then one, and that would be bad, right? But at least there's one. So, right now, on the strength of that alone, right, it's not great, but on the fact that it does assure a pathway there. Dangerous though, yeah. And the failed war on drugs. They definitely some way over the top shit. It's for Medicare for all, no restriction. The ability of patients to seek private care. I'm down for that. I am for Medicare for all, complete elimination of the private healthcare industry. Say no on that. Okay. Remember that if you have someone who's like just giving massages, which should be considered some type of like therapeutic care, if you right say that you can't really open up your own like little massage spot, that's what this says. That's how far, or you can't like make your own like little pose you anything, right? Yeah. You can't like sell like some people like to have like tea they feel like calms them or whatever, right? That could be considered under eliminated. You could be eliminated. Yeah, be careful about this whole eliminating of the whole entire. I'm not mad at providing healthcare for all, but when you start taking away choices, I'm not liking that. But okay, I'm going to abstain on this one. I understand this is very the insurance companies are a huge problem. Huge problem. Maybe there's other ways like just direct to market and get rid of and just this solution could be working, or this solution could also not work. Like the single payer, if you have a single payer, then what happens if everybody's just paying too much? Like how much did they charge for that vaccine, by the way, that we all got that COVID vaccine thing, right? Yeah. It's supposed to get anyways, right? How much was that thing was for profit? They did not, right, have any restrictions on the cost of the. Did Johnson make record profits last year? I don't even know, right? Anyways, right to abortion with government paying for the procedure. Okay, once again, I think this is really key for does the order of the questions matter, because I know there's a series coming up, and this question here has a lot of unclear shit going on, right? First of all, what happens if the woman's like, super duper? I could make a scenario where, this woman that's super poor, and then she's like maybe very young and got raped or something. I heard about like a 10-year-old abortion question the other day. Yeah, but if a 10-year-old got raped and then she's found to be pregnant, and that 10-year-old decided, I would actually let that child decide what they want to do. And the parents, I would let that individual make that choice. I know some people, right? So there's child abuse victims out there that aren't allowed because the parent, or they adults know better. They're just selfish and they just want what they want. and they're not listening to those kids that are trying to get out of those situations. But what the fuck do you care, right? You're the adult and they're the child, and you're gonna tell them that they don't have the right to make their own decisions. Okay. Anyways, so a 10-year-old there is raped, wants to have the abortion, right? That at that age when you're still growing to have a baby pop out. How many pounds? Maybe 7, 8 pounds. You weigh like maybe 50, 60 pounds. This is not a good idea. With government assistance paying for the procedure, if that child has no one else, the government, it would be nice. So in that case, I would say that would make sense. I see another situation where, you know, probably people could paint a bad picture of a situation like this, right? Where someone was, I guess you could make some story up where the woman seems to be irresponsible and people don't think that the government should be paying for that. But I do think that there's a case where this should be actually fair, so I'll say okay for that. But not for government to paying for the procedure. I also think that this makes sense as well. Not all the time. I have to abstain on this because it's not all the time for me on these, right? So in this case, I support it, but not all the time. So I would say, yeah, I do support it. That's a yes, but not all the time. This is weird, right? The wording of this, the right to an abortion, but only under certain conditions, such as a danger to the mother's life, failure, genetic disease, blah blah blah. It's okay. Yeah, I support the right to an abortion, but only under certain conditions. That's fair, right? Support the fetus's right to life. Yes, under certain conditions. Oh my goodness. This is really where I would say only under certain conditions for this one, right? Yeah. If the baby's basically been carried to term, and the baby has, the baby could survive. I think sometimes they abort the baby and the baby does survive. And then they have a problem. It's rare. It has happened before. I put the fetus's right to life. Yeah, what happens if you attempted an abortion and the fetus comes out and it survived the procedure? Limiting the marketing of drugs to consumers. Yeah. I have to market. Just tell them what it is, right? You need to market that shit. People can decide whether they want it or not. They should just be given the facts, not sold some, That's why we use so much drugs in this country. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay, so like that last one that we saw, the Medicare for All thing, right? That did not prioritize, right? It actually listed like the administrators and doctors first, maybe, or I don't remember, but it said at least one. So many times it's like, the whole other side is stacked. Think about the doctors got the money, and if it's not them, it's their lobbyists or people who they could hire. But in terms of the advocacy groups, you got people like myself, not funded, not talked about, not helped, not heard. You know what I mean? And how the fuck are we gonna supposed to get shit done? Get the fuck out of here, man. You got maybe one person that could show up, right? Maybe they can even show up if they can show up. What if they can't even show up? You get the advocacy group, right, of the ones funded by the doctors and the insurance companies. That's what you get. Oh my god, you need to start prioritizing in a way different way. Immediately expand Medicaid to cover hearing medication mobility aids. Sure. Absolutely. We need to. How does Medicaid not cover these things? Anyways, allowed stands by the Nuremberg tribe say that people must be given the opportunity to give knowledgeable consent for subjecting to any medical procedure treatment. This is from the Nuremberg trials. That's after World War II, after the experimentations on the Jews by the Nazis. Yeah, okay. Allowed to use people for human experiments. Getting to halfway there. Okay. Using zoning laws to promote monoculture for supply, sure. Now use antibiotics, sure. Legalize meat as a part of consumption. Too far. I get it. Legalize the fur industry. It was already dead. I'm not really crazy about like trapping, killing them and shit. And we have synthetic fibers that could be used. We have to abstain on this one. I know some people can get real mad about that one. And the tests used for animals is test subjects for toxicity. I will have to say yes. I'm just not really. Come on, you don't need to torture them. It's too much, yeah. If the fur is already existing somehow, right? Or if people are using, right? I know people do eat meat. They eat rabbits and stuff, and if they're, or if the cow is used for, they ate the cow and they use the fur or the hide for something else, then if they're raising it just to kill it for the fur, then yeah, it's not cool. There's a lot of native people that also have like, different handiwork that they developed from nomadic times, and I'm not going to shoot them down for engaging in their traditional behaviors. Reduce the inefficiency of shipping, promote businesses, and increase food. By taxing shipping to the Amazon, right, to just, yeah, they actually taking advantage, right, of a certain situation and a niche that's being left open for them, right? Niches that are not available to the rest of us. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Give farm best financial terms for, yeah. We need food over here. Look at what's happening in Sri Lanka. They ain't got their own growing food. We need our own food for real. Waste disposal toxic facilities. Absolutely. It's a good one. I think the real problem here is getting the energy to the surface, right? So working on that. Direct to market is good. The right to water, yes. Reduce cost to file patents for environmental technologies. Good one. Increase self-storage cutlery. Yeah, get rid of one-time use plastics, they call them. Legally at a federal level the ability for non-commercial to collect and rainwater property. Yeah. Can't legalize people getting rainwater, come on. Filming has been illegalized on fact-free farms. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Lock-in protections for... Wait, what are they hiding? You know what I mean? Yeah, like... That's our food supply. Like, stop hiding shit. You know? Ridiculous. Okay, national parks. Use of roundabouts. It's annoying, but I guess people could get used to it. It's technically safer, and you know, I find it annoying as hell. But also, then you don't need the freaking traffic lights. That's huge. Less accidents. Anyways, consider the use of nuclear power to minimizing energy needs. Yes. You don't like nuclear. What do they even know about it? Why these people don't know about? There are legitimate concerns, real legitimate concerns, and that's by people because people being lazy and not taking care of shit. That's what it is. It's fucking disgusting. It is what it is. So I responsible. Personal responsibility. Well, this is gonna be short. Serialization of the way that manufacturers lock down devices. Okay. That means if I buy a phone, the screen of the phone only works with that phone. They do this on purpose and it creates e-waste. It's in order to force the consumer to buy a new phone and make them buy not just the screen but the whole processor and everything. It's wasteful and it's disgusting. That's the only reason they made that technology. Some people might say security. No. It's a software issue, not a screen issue. Yeah. When you buy the device, right? Like, first of all, just the fact that they've released the device, right? Like you see this, I could take this keyboard right here. I could take the measurements of it and just copy the design just on a physical basis. Once that information out there, I should be able to publish dimensions of the object once it's released to the public, or photos of it or whatever. That's in the public. And if I want to take the keys off and study how the design of the switches are, that's public information once you've released that product. You can't force people to take that down. Right? What switches are you using inside the keyboard to make those little clicks, right? Yeah. If I open the device and I look and I say, oh, look, it's this type of switch, right? If I do it with intent to harm others, if I tell people like how to like jailbreak the big so that like somehow like it breaks or hurts people somehow, yeah, that's whack. Okay, you're not. If you want to know about the switches, so maybe you could repair it or maybe customize it somehow. That's fair. It's 100% fair. Regulations on 3D printers or printing. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to abstain on this one. You know why? Because 3D printing already, right? Like just like a physical paper printing, it's so highly controlled. Every device that you print on has like little like identifying characteristics on it that will link back to you and identify, your paper, what the make of the manufacturer of the printer was. They'll be able to track that back. It's insane. Now, the thing is that the reason why is because you can make certain things, such as keys, such as other things, make guns, make things that bypass security devices. Um, and should people be able to have those things? I mean, yeah. I mean, once the technology out there, it should be accessible. But um, like there, there might be some regulations on like weapons, right? Like people who are mentally, you who aren't right, because we saw that the mental background checks were necessary for people to be able to get guns before, and that I think has unanimous support. So I do think that if there is people able to later on print out automatic weapons and they are actually, you know, can't pass a background check because they have a history of violent behavior and hurting people, then I have to regulate that. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm not really happy about it. Anyways, okay. Let's do it. What's the present? Ooh, nice, Jeff. That's cool. Python hardware. Hmm. I would include also the price of labor, right? Enable the repair of the equipment. I mean, that could be included in the repair of the equipment, right? Yeah, to enable the repair of the equipment, yeah, you'll need that labor to be able to accomplish that. So yeah, that's cool. That's included. Proprietary hardware devices are designed to deliberately make it hard to service, to attain market share, all kinds of anti-consumer activities such as proprietary hardware connectors. Oh, it's so annoying, Apple. It's so annoying. And software as service technologies that attempt to achieve this should be subject to tax as severe as regards still from optimization. Yeah. Yo, honestly, I should add to this one, like, we should just cap out, like, the level of loot boxes and say that the max that loot boxes can fund your game is 15%. After that, we're taking all the money. They're making money like never before, and it's affecting the impact quality of games. We can actually change this on a legislative uh, and I'm gonna start working on that one. That's ridiculous. Resolving women's issues and advancing and maintaining women's rights for parties that we, the English speaking citizens of the U.S., resort to ourselves popularly talk about women. This seems like anti-trans language, so I will say I'm sorry, buddy. You, uh, we're all entitled to our opinion. No one can be forced to pay that part for a child that biologically their own, unless the child was adopted and the former was be part of the separation to payment child support. That seems fair. And sue the government of for and by women to give it all authority over abortion and immigration and other factors affecting the human population count in the nation. Only women can have the moral authority to ask, demand, or require that other women limit their birthing. How is immigration limit their birthing? Immigration? Women prefer the richer men, right? Yeah. So they're only gonna let in the rich guys? What is no? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'll say no to that one. Have to explain why we have to group T and plus with LGBTQ. Also, how Q is different from LGB. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans. What is Q? If explanations are not forthcoming, this string should be dropped from political speech on the grounds that is too harmful to the signal to noise ratio. and prevents us from thinking straight or engaging in rash discussion for a healthy society. Hmm. Why is there a plus there and not a minus? That's also a little strange. I don't know what this is. What is plus? Sex positive? I've heard of that. I don't really. Um, I don't think you can really prevent political speech from occurring or from new concepts from emerging. I think this is an old term now. T. The fashion or sect that promotes the use of our language. There's different factions and sects that promote the use and oppose the use. T and plus. There's possibly people that want to drop like other parts of it, right? Like not just the T and the plus. Oh, here it looks like you might want to drop the Q, LGBTQ, LBGB. There's like different combination possibilities here. I'm just gonna have to say I can't really push one over the other. It does seem focus on the trans part. The sex pod thing, I'm not really sure. That'll include someone like myself. I don't know. No person should be subject to any discrimination or denial of rights, benefits, or opportunities on account of what they like to cuddle and kiss with. Okay. Okay. It makes sense to me until the point where he says, and with due regard to the prevention and reversal of human overpopulation. So in that case, you would be subject to discrimination or denial of rights, benefits, or opportunities on account of whom you like to cuddle and kiss with. And that would be actually, right, if reversal of human overpopulation. I'm not sure exactly how these two things are really supposed to come together here. I'm just gonna have to abstain on it. I just don't really. I think that there's something positive going on, and then it sounds good here, and then the reversal of human population just gets me like too mystified. The faction of sect that promotes the notion that children should be certified to cis and trans categories. Let's explain how this is to be done. The sorting hat. Watch Harry Potter. And what are the social psychological? I think they will self-sort. High SNR. Signal to noise ratio. What about earlier? Political discussion. I cannot. I understand the. In some ways, I agree with it, but I have to also say, like, I just have to give it a no, though. Because you cannot prevent people from creating their own terminology and trying to push for that. There's the idea that language is political, language is living. LGBTQ plus again, right? You're the one using this term. What happens if you just use LGBT? Why are you using LGBTQ plus? Right, that's your choice. Oh no, I used it. Okay, I thought William was still here. So much on either implications for those born as women in sports or gender pronouns and bathroom access. Oh, we don't hear much about actual quality regarding housing access, jobs, with the critical issues. You're dedicated, yeah. Bureaucrats has diminished district the labor reforms actually impacting this community in real ways. Yeah. Okay. You know who's really pushing this whole bathroom shit? I feel like it's fucking academics. Ban trans people from sports. It's us. Some people would go for that. I would actually say no. Allow trans individuals as the gender of their choosing. Sure. Allow trans people to be defined in their gender by criteria that does not follow either extreme. I would do that too. Maybe separate leagues or something. A unified league, whatever. Unified league if that wants to exist. Create a whistleblower agency to root out corruption, prioritizing essential industries. Industries where 3 to 7 agents are set into a company for a period of several months to years. This is cool. After being in Congress, seems fair. Probably too low. It's smart. Oh, tax breaks for buildings. Yes, this is another way to really directly help the rich. People have money for landed gentry. AKA the middle class, the landed gentry. Not even the middle class. The dukes and shit. Government funded institutions cannot also be government vendors and buyers. I'll abstain on that one actually. I don't keep government politically outside elections and control. This is absolutely true. But the checks and balances to watch and keep this aspect of absolutely. Oops. Let me go back to this one that I abstained on. The thing is that, right, like, even though at my heart, like, I agree with this, like, I can already see, they already find ways around this. So, like, I just don't see it. That's the reason why I'm staying, because I think I have to change to be more enforceable. Just don't think it's really clear enough. Anyways, yeah, sorry about that. I just was busy, I guess. Annual use military expenditure $1 million to be brought below that of some other countries, and that's because I think the hidden message behind here is that the U.S. actually has the largest hue by a long shot, the U.S. military expenditure. We spend that of several other countries, and it's a military dominance that is allowing us to hold on to the, you know, basically our bullshits. I have to abstain on this one. Annual U.S. military sometimes be bought valid out of some other country. Ooh. Hmm. This is an interesting, yeah, criticism right here, right? Yeah, the U.S. is the #1 polluter in the world, military. Interesting topic, U.S. military pollution. Yo, those Humvees are gas guzzlers, for real. For real. 4.8 miles per gallon, yes. You gotta refill that tank all the time. That's real. Anyways. People think that they're gonna make the fucking that helipad from the Avengers. Let's go back to the I'm gonna wait on that one. To be diverted to nourish or oppose a political faction or political position or opinion in another country. The thing is that, right, we have so much. Remember in Afghanistan when people were on the plane, like trying to jump on the plane, they were falling off? There's a lot of people who are real pissed off at us because of the abuse that we've been engaged in. And we need to be able to dial it down. You just like, you were asking to get robbed. Drop everything. I'm not saying to drop. I know it doesn't say drop everything, but you play that role for a long time. People are ready to come back and get what was taken from them. Everybody everything on a short public faction or political issue. This is tough to do. Let's abstain on that one. And I agree with this somewhat, and then in other ways I see this could be problematic. Or I don't think it's like really enforceable. Because private citizens might want to engage somehow, right? So U.S. resources, taxpayer resources, or the citizens don't have the ability to, like, locally or nationally. I need more information on this. Okay, enterprises involved in making munitions, weapons, and military vehicles may not contribute money, resources, or speech, political cause, or candidates. It's very interesting here, right? Yeah, I would agree with that. Was found guilty of having, while they were in the course of office under the suicides, working for contract, tortured anyone, be imprisoned for life. Some people say that sexual harassment is like social and psychological torture, so that could definitely open up definitely some things. Generally, I would say yes. Yeah. Abu Ghraib was quite unexcusable, and Guantanamo was quite also disgusting. And arms sales to Saudi Arabia for their war on Yemen. Just end arms sales, period. Why are we selling arms to Saudi Arabia? Never stockpiled by 50%. Well, they're doing that to secure the oil, right? Isn't Saudi Arabia really hooking us up with the oil? Every number of nuclear weapons are stockpiled by 50%. Yeah, we don't really need all those nuclear weapons. We have, like, clearly enough, right? This one is a combination for their war on Yemen. I don't really know what happened in Yemen. I'm just down with this, though. Right? Yeah, just stop all that stupid shit. If you don't like what's going on over there, then just handle it yourself, US. Yeah. Stop having proxy governments do bullshit. It's just silent weapons. It's just proxy. And these are the next actions that cause civilian populations to suffer. Yes, okay. Jong Il's fat as hell. Meanwhile, his arm is like, what, 5 feet tall? Killing him. Okay. Repeal the authorization of force. Yeah, that sounds intelligent. I like that, Randy. Hope you vote in this, goddammit. Expand the process of veteran care. Yeah, I would agree with that. There's you file so many forms. They can't fill out these forms. Phase out the that they're mentally shattered and shit. You know, I mean, they can't be filling out freaking form ZYX 300. Phase out the VA medical replace with the Medicare for All system. Abstain on that one. Cut the so-called defense budget by at least 70%. A lot. We'll easily be able to defend the US against being invaded. I'm not sure. I don't know. In what way is this 30%, right? We talked about with Randy about like how a lot of vehicles that they're just not like really taking care of, and they just have extra crap just sitting on the base. Create a separate watchdog agency specifically for veterans and families. Who's going to do that? Separate watchdog agency. Sounds cool. I probably can with that one. Reverse boot camp. That makes a lot of sense. Good luck, Matt Ho. It looks like you're getting support in the press. Anyways, create more restrictions to prevent the use of U.S. military engagement without the approval of the public at large. Matt got the message. That's supposed to work with me, I think. Yeah. Wow. He worked with us somewhat. Yeah, it's so sad. Anyway, let's go on. Create more restrictions to prevent the use of military engagement without the approval of the public at large. Require congressional approval to engage in military action. Armed forces are participating. No more armed participation. Yeah, I like that one. Any open involved more indirect approved by nationwide referendum. Abolish AFRICOM. That's a cool one. Yeah. Just no more intelligence agencies. This is one of the top manual weapons manufacturers and sellers in the world. And the export guns for providing military aid. As approved by a congressional majority. Yeah, why are we shipping out weapons? Get the fuck out of here. It's disgusting. Need them guns, bro. Who's gonna be happy with us selling guns? How about I sell knives to your children? Are you crazy? You're not gonna like that. And the Patriot Act, universal privacy, absolutely. Hey, we're getting towards the end. God damn it. Create apprenticeship programs for youth. That's Susan right there. I hear Susan's voice speaking. As soon as I hear apprenticeship programs for the youth, I know it's Susan. That's cool. I appreciate that. Make pre-K available to all. Angela Grabowski. Yeah, it has some positive outcomes, I believe, right? Yeah. Positive experience. Get the kids socialized early. Yo, this is wild. By the time the kids are going to pre-K, they're already using iPads. They're already socialized to their computer. They are with the computer before they talk to other kids. That's God's truth. Think about that, right? When you were growing up, you probably interacted with other kids before. Well, maybe you interacted with TV first. I don't know. Were you watching Sesame Street or something? Maybe. Anyways, yeah. You know, that internet stuff. That disturbing. Anyways, organize early education around job tracks. I will. It makes sense. Get the kids thinking early about what they want to do, right? Yeah? And just teach them. You guys should actually start encouraging that. I actually. The people who made anything out of themselves early on, they really had a better idea what they were. Actually, was hidden from me what my parents really did. You know what I mean? Some of it was there, but they didn't want to talk about because there was too much to lose. I understand that now. It's not a good thing. Only Department of Education and turn state control. Should there be a federal Department of Education? I think there probably should be. Or organization. Job tracks. The Department of Education here, right? The thing is that I think there should be some department. I wouldn't completely eliminate it, right? There should be some coordination would be cool, and someone who really understands the difference between there's value to that. So I don't know how big it has to be. I'm not saying it's got to be like millions of dollars, right? It could be just like a couple people, just like coordinating the information and providing it in a maybe some federal help where necessary, right? We look at right maybe like Kentucky, like that, some rural areas like their schools struggle more, right? And some big cities have a lot more resources to have fancy education systems and shit that are having better outcomes. Not all the outcomes probably, to tell you the truth, but anyways, as measured by the system. Anyways, let's go to this one. Next one. Reduce the number of administrators in school systems in order to pay teachers more. Okay. Expand online offerings for teachers. I'm not sure this is really the major issue, but I'm okay with that. I don't like administrators. Get rid of them. It's just dumb. Expand online offerings for education to achieve savings. Yes. I think this might have been Hank, actually. If desired reform for education require resources, not um, expenditure. Yeah, I'm gonna. I appreciate the sentiment, but there needs to be more study on this. Sold off assets of education that have received $2 million total of these schools, fuck these schools. And pair with the book industry, yeah. Before they even walk in the classroom. Free student government from oversight and under control by government administrators. Teach financial literacy during all education. Cool. Create zero interest education loans. Yeah. Discharge all interest on student loans. So this one takes care of not just the zero interest for the future for the kids in school now, but all the one that exists right now for the huge freaking. You want to bail them out. You don't need to bail. At least take care of this interest shit. It's ridiculous. They're polling throughout the country. There should be they make presentations. Yeah, I'm going to say makes sense. Make permanent Teach America core and things like that. Okay. Actually, they're not really. The amount of people that got paid back off of these debt forgiveness programs was quite low. I think it was like less than 1%. Free college for all who want it. That should make sense to me. Now student athletes. Not really that advanced college. You don't need that much to get a college degree. Really. It's not about the degrees, right? What they're teaching you. College level math and sciences, even med school stuff is all available online. 100%. It's all free on YouTube. Every single subject. Sometimes they're better on YouTube than it is in the classroom, straight up. Get paid in a way that more, student athletes, you're actually paying them for the real world. How about paying them with real contracts? How to negotiate that instead of taking advantage of them. We're not really teaching them how to be student athletes, are you? Not the business side of it. Just everything else, you're just victimizing. Because this is a fun idea. Having a school administration ranking. Next, they change the tax blanket from the student graduates. Figure out a number that would cover a full debt 9%. Every citizen. Hope for it to be contribution to society, but it's an interesting having a ranking on that. I would like to see a ranking, a federal ranking of that. Figure out a number that would cover the full debt of 90% of students that took out loans, and give that much money to every citizen. Full debt of 90%. So forgive 90% of the student loans, that would be significant. Reduction in monthly expenditure. Hmm. I know the military is draining a lot of money. I want to say yes. The way the expenditure is reduced, staff versus equipment, I'll give him a yes on this one. I guess that's selfish of me. My own student debt, right? I think for education per student should be. I do see some issue here though. Reduction monthly expenditure. Money for education per student should be uniform across the nation. That makes sense to me. Might be want fair pricing, right? The teacher decided about planning education. I'm staying on that one. Students should be paid for their work. No one should work for free. Yeah, I'm down with that one. Yeah, it is work. Learning shit, right? But teachers decided about planning education. Why did I differentiate from that one? Sometimes some teachers are not as good as others. That's why. We're at the last one. Yeah, the last one is really just the accident thing. So, make voting available by cell phone. Sure. Make voting available to people in prison and with criminal records. I will say yes. Some actually communities, right, are just prisons. Can you imagine if they have a mayor in a prison town? Sometimes they're quite isolated in these super max prisons with like huge populations. Make voting available to people in prison and those with criminal records. I know that might be controversial. At the ballot box. Could be. There's another way it could be done digitally, I guess, yeah. Yeah, the fingerprint verifier. That could be fake though, right? What about if people are missing hands? What are you gonna do? Eye scan or they're exempt? I'm gonna abstain on this one. Every election day is I'm not against this, but then do we have to have fingerprints of everybody who votes? That's like that also seems a little intrusive. Every election day is a holiday. Sure, I like that one. Provide increased transportation to voting sites. Yes, that's a great idea. Provide increased transportation to voting sites. Okay. Have voting at churches or parks to make voting more accessible. Yes. Make voting available via mobile units on routes like ice cream trucks. Sure. Make local laws causing the blackout of the face similar to the way that sports games are blacked out if they do not fill the stadium. Give all candidates equal speaking time. Social media giants have too much control over discourse using biased search for results and algorithms. Make choice based on arbitrary rulings. Require paper ballots for votes. Sure. Should be some paper record, yeah. Funding sources of not-for-profits. Hell yeah. This one's very key. Forced boxing is go there for entertainment. Um, That's true for everybody. We just pick up Dax news. Elections for single winner office. That's harsh. I mean, I definitely feel that this is legitimate, and I feel like this is definitely addressing a situation. But no, just, I don't want to single out Fox News. It's definitely happening on the other side in a lot of places. Single winner office can be converted to voting system that provides equal way and different outcome. Hmm. Splitting. Best knowledge and studies available according to who? That's gonna be that's gonna be a focus for intense debate right there. I I'm not against the right. I would probably side with this guy if there was a debate, but I don't really trust the people to determine who has the best knowledge and studies available, because the people with the best knowledge and studies available will be the ones who are funded by the industry, and that's gonna the people with the money will ensure that they keep the money. And I think yes, this is already a very compromised area. Knowledge, best knowledge and studies is sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it's the shiz that you put a lot of some things get talked about, some things don't. It's very dangerous. Any ballot complete with a ballot machines must be plainly readable. That's yeah, that makes sense to me. That hasn't made a paper cap for 3 years. Sure. An important thing I have to make a paper copy of. I'm cool with that, right? We could do a digital thing, and then after you get out or you confirmed your vote or something, must arrange a chain of custody and responsibility covering the storage and transport of election ballots. Chain of custody. I would do more. I would say okay with this. I would just add personally. I hope that chain of custody includes like just filming of the machine, like from top to bottom, the insides of it, how, like the mechanisms, and then just a live feed of it, just straight right through the voting process, and when the votes are taken out of the machine, that shows how many votes were in there, that everything working correctly. That would be great. It's completely doable. Why don't we do this? That's a real disturbing question right there. Yeah. Yo, it's completely doable. Citizens who are voting age and not been educated, mentally competent, have right to vote. Who is determining who's mentally incompetent? What if you have um, not received the vaccination? Are you mentally incompetent? Some people would say yes, right? Actually, I think that they supposedly I would open the voting to all ages too. I bet your kids would actually vote right away. Probably, hopefully they vote in their own interests. I like it when it's just no jurisdiction shall manipulate the conditions of voting in any such way to suppress voting by any subset of citizens. Right there is perfect. But then it's like this adjudicated mentally incompetent. It sounds good, but I'm not really. Who's a honestly, William, the stuff that you said earlier about this thing, the trans stuff you said earlier before. Trust me, there's gonna be people out there who are ready to adjudicate you mentally incompetent. You know this, William. You know this, right? So, just saying, I'm saying that you should have a right to your opinion. I don't personally agree with it, but I am not gonna say mentally competent at all. But I see a high possibility for abuse here. I hope you see that too, William. Okay. Otherwise, preventing suppression of voting by subset of citizens, I do support that. Straight up, okay? And people who are mentally incompetent or mentally, and this also because the nursing homes are really a huge way that votes are manipulated in this country. These nursing homes. When you look at the average age of the voter in New York City, I think it's like 75 or something. It doesn't even make sense, right? There's a lot of dead people who are voting. It's just a lot of weird shit. Yeah. Who gets these big contracts for nursing homes? Think about that. Why was Andrew Cuomo so invested in nursing homes? Shenanigans. That's why. And requirements for identification of the voter shall only depend on identity documents. Sure. Okay. Working for the board of elections must be staffed. Yeah. Oh, actually, this is when she votes. Not sure. I'm gonna propound on that one. Yeah, every American gets $100 to get this is democracy dollars. I would be. I'd be okay with this. Expand voting rights to illegal immigrants. Yes. And is that the end? Thank you for participating. Game over. Okay, so I'm gonna just check my live stream, see if anybody has anything to say. I'm streaming this. See this one, by the way. To those who have a question, man, I hope she shows up. This lady, and she's a funky beginning of this video here. But there are some legitimate, like from the survey. Some people will see the questions that are repeated as they won't like that, but that's also in survey when you're taking for consistency, there is some value to having that as well. I'm not going to say it's any other reason than my, just messing that up, right? Like I wouldn't have that. And the length of the survey also exhausts the, I was getting tired. Let's see though. Okay, so let's go to on live stream. If there's any comments. Consistency. There is some value to having that as well. Nothing but biometric safety, technology, just messing that up, right? Audio agency should be the same for the firearms. Also exhausts the. Yeah, that's true. The biometric safety. Let's see though. Okay, so let's go to on live stream. I'm just a little bit worried about biometric being able to be hacked, maybe. I do see this over here. And shout out to my dude from Official People Party USA, bud. You know what I mean? It's been a while since I had you on the channel. But he's still politically involved, yeah. The whole People's Party thing is they want to collect a lot of money. I think that this guy's entitled to some of that. Right? They've been working together since the beginning. This guy has the rights to the original name itself, so they should be talking about that. Anyways, I hope you thank you for checking out. If you guys enjoy, I'm gonna stop. Have a good one.